Hello and welcome to another video from thefanpub.com.
It's good to be back. Thank you, Al. It's nice to be doing it. And what are we doing today?
We're doing a mock draft, a 14-team half-point PPR.
Yeah, they're always quite popular and always interested to see. So we're gearing up for some drafts ourselves. So where are we picking from today? Are we going to choose our draft position today?
Yeah, because you're picking...
I'm picking fourth in a live draft coming up quite soon, this weekend in fact. So this will be a good tester for us. But obviously I'm looking for Al's input here as well. I need his thoughts. And we're going to mimic that situation and... we'll also talk through some of the things we think will happen and won't happen, even though we won't let that influence what we're going to pick. But
I think you just pick what's in
there.
Front of you, yeah.
Let's see what happens.
So we're picking four. That's where you've got your draft position. We know that.
Yeah.
Not now.
So if you've been following along with our videos over the time period, you'll notice the settings are the same as previous in terms of how many bench spots, etc. So.
Oh, well, there you go. There's an interesting...
I've got the interesting choice at 4. Now, because it's a 14-man league... And because I've got an extra 2 rounds, I don't hesitate. I take a Zeke Elliott.
What?
Yeah, take him straight away.
Well, there's a coin flipper. You won't be there.
I'll take Ezekiel Elliott and believe that they'll get the deal done. So I'm going to take him.
You're gonna take that risk,
Yeah, because I've got 2 extra rounds, so I know that there's a risk, but I'd absolutely would take that risk here. I think because although David Johnson is the safe play, Ezekiel Elliott behind that line is the sensible play because.
I don't think he is a sensible
Well, if he plays, you see, he's a rushing champion, isn't he? That's what he's capable of doing.
If he plays, there
is a risk. But I've got 2 extra rounds. Now, would you want to talk me out of it? Do you want to talk me down from the edge?
I think you should, yeah.
Talk me down from the edge.
I think David Johnson's a very good sort of second choice.
Okay, that's fair.
You could lock him in
and just move on.
And you know he's going to play all year.
Okay, so Al's talking me off.
He's not as good as Zeke Elliott, but you haven't got any risk. You haven't got to worry about.
And I raised this as a bit of devil's advocate because I wanted to see what Al would do if I got so insane as to think about the edge.
I had this same choice. I was picking at 5 in a big draft, and Zeke was still there, and I couldn't take him. As much as I love him, I don't want the risk.
I do agree here because if no matter how many extra rounds you got, the truth is we don't know what the situation was Elliott, and as that is the situation, likely to be the situation going on Saturday, you don't do it. So we'll move on and take David Johnson. It's a much better offense. I like the scheme that they're going to set up, and I think it's going to suit him. And even if David Johnson's, we know the floor was 196 in standard. That's 4 points short of the 200 I need. I think if that's your floor, you can be pretty safe.
And the offense is going to be better this year.
Yeah, it's got to be. You can't be much worse than that. So thanks for talking us off the edge, Al. But that's the decision that you might be facing. So don't do it.
Obviously, if you was picking at 8,
then fair enough.
Or where I'm picking in this draft at 12, if he's there, I'm going to take him. But at 4, I think
madness. Really.
Just take David Johnson.
Take the safer play. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, moving on. We take David Johnson. That's probably what I'll end up doing this Saturday.
But you never know. I'm playing against you, so if you want to take,
that's fine. It's good. And now we're definitely not taking Melvin Gordon that's sitting at the top there. Sorry, again for the same reasons. I mean, it might be the second round, but even I'm not risking it here. So no, I'm swerving past him. I'm just going to look at what players are available. Quite a few have gone, which is quite understandable. Looking at the numbers and the players, I'm definitely not taking Melvin Gordon. I'm not taking Damian Williams. I do like Aaron Jones an awful lot. I already have one running back.
So you picked 25, Melvin Gordon. See, that would more...
Yeah, but I'm not going to. Because there's more risk with him. There's much higher chance he sits out the full 10 games. Yeah, I do. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lock in my own personal hunch, if that's okay. I'll take Aaron Jones all day long here, and I'll move on to the 3rd round. It kind of limits my options in the 3rd round, but I'll take it.
Okay, so you've gone back-to-back running backs?
Yeah, because I like both those guys for this year. Now we're into this round. This is great because look who's fallen here. So I could get potentially an elite wide receiver in Brown. He also throws up some red flags, but the risks now...
Red flag?
Or is it burnt feet?
He's got the red flag on his helmet, which he's not allowed to wear.
But I do need a wide receiver. But he is potentially great.
I'm in the 3rd round.
It's cheap.
Pick 32.
It is cheap.
I couldn't put you off.
No.
You know the risk.
Look, the thing is he'll play. So I'll take Antonio Brown. He's my risk player out the first 3 rounds. I went risk averse with my first pick with David Johnson. I've got Aaron Jones.
I mean, if you'd gone, you could have gone, which offered you as the main pick. Ezekiel Elliott,
Melvin Gordon and Antonio Brown. I'm not liking those 3.
I don't think you'd be able to sleep at night owning them.
I think you'd be worried. You'd be worried. The one's going to have frostbite not only in his feet and his hands. I
think he's got it in his head sometimes.
Maybe the cryogenics or whatever it was called. I can't remember it. Maybe
cryotherapy
has affected him. Yeah, you're right. Ezekiel Elliott, he's on the contract train, and then you've got Melvin Gordon likely to threaten to hold out to week 10. Looks like a formula for success, doesn't it?
Yeah, what could go wrong?
So moving on, I'll take Antonio Brown. It's too good value there. That's one risk I'll take.
Yeah, I mean the upside is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah,
the risk.
Look, if the worst case scenario is he gets a quarter of the catches, I think he's capable of being fine.
I mean, if you're trying to beat 13 other players, then you got to look for upside.
Yeah.
So I can see why.
And the bye weeks are all perfect as well. Not that matters. It's a good situation. I'm not going to touch a quarterback early. We've got a 14-team league. If I'm honest, I'm going to sit back and wait. That's how I'm going to play. But beautifully, at this point of the draft, which has surprised me, still sitting there. So I'm not hesitating. I'm taking David Montgomery. If that was to happen, I wouldn't even give it a moment's thought.
Well, David Montgomery.
Yeah.
He's on our big sleeper video that's just come out, so
yes,
check that out if you want. So if you want to know why Sean loves him, and he does love him.
Yeah.
Do you know what else I read the other day?
Go on. Yeah.
Apparently his head coach at college said he was the best route runner out of anyone, including the wide receivers.
He does this little something that this is what I was alluding to, right? So I don't think many of the analysts realise this, right? So I've been saying he's got some of the best hands I've seen. And the reason I think this is because I've seen the kids, when you watch him run, sometimes when a running back, best way to describe this, go back and watch the tape. When a running back moves out of the backfield and lines up in clearly a wide receiver slot position, and you watch how he moves in the slot position and how he gets open in 5-yard, 10-yard and 15-yard patterns, and what he does, you have to double look. You have to take a second look at it because you're thinking, that is so smooth. He's not a hybrid player.
I mean, there's a couple of others like that, aren't there? Like Bell and Tarek Cohen. Much, I think he lined up 40%.
And you look at his size for the big man. I mean, he's a big guy. And you look at his size, his physical strength and everything and the way he plays, and he can go through the tackle. You know, sometimes you look at players, can they do all three phases? Can they block? Can they catch? Can they run? He can do all of them. So for me, he's fantastic. So I wouldn't hesitate. I don't blame you for taking him in the third round, frankly, but I'll have him here. I'd be happy to take him. Now I'm going to start needing your help more and more now. We go into an interesting phase of the game now. Still not going to touch, although it's great value. Deshaun Watson is brilliant. I'm not touching him, and I'll need your advice now. So what are we going to do here? I think we need to balance the team.
Don't ask me, because you know I've got a soft spot for AJ Green. With the big ING letters. It's even telling you.
This could have been the worst draft of all time. I could have had AJ Green on top of.
If you're looking for upside,
Brown.
I mean, wow, yeah, you could have been.
It could have been the biggest risking team of all time.
No, I wouldn't blame you for passing them up. You filled up 3 running backs, so I'd say you probably either want to go balance with a wide receiver.
The question with balance always boils down to, do you like any of them at the value that they're being offered to? And for me at the moment, I don't actually, and I probably would swerve another round here. But then the question is, if you swerve another round,
what are you going to do?
What are you going to do? And I guess what I would probably do here, looking for the win, is I'll go with my hunch and I'll take Baker Mayfield here at 5. It's my 5th pick in a 14 over Deshaun Watson. And I'll look to play the hunch that this is the guy who'll end up number 2, maybe number 1 this year in fantasy.
Okay, Baker. Let's lock him
so
in.
It's a bold prediction. He is on the bold prediction list as well, and I'm not using it for those reasons. But again, if you haven't seen the video, do take a look.
His expert consensus rating is 69, or ranking is 69. So you take him at 60. It's not like you're taking him mega early. His ADP is 62. So.
I know that they won't like that, but I've still got time to get.
But it's what you like, isn't it?
Yeah. So happy there. Not ideal to take a quarterback early, but again we have more rounds and there's more value sitting here. There's some great value. It gets more interesting here. So the question marks start flying. Who do you like? What do you think here then?
I know who I'd take. It's not who you'd take.
Well, who would you take?
I would take Curtis Samuel because I think. I'm just liking what I'm hearing about him.
Look, I'm okay to do that.
But this is your team.
No, I'm okay with this because I'm a wide receiver needy team and I need an upside number 2. I do like what I'm hearing as well. I'm warming to the player enough to say, let's take a punt here. I can take one shot. Let's have him. Let's put him on.
And if it doesn't work
out... It doesn't work out. It's not going to cost me my team.
I mean, the others are fairly safe. You got Lamar.
I like Lamar, but I've got 3 running backs already. And although he's great value, I'm not going to be able to start 4 of them. I'll probably be able to grab another one I like later. So
I mean, you got the upside. The other person you got the upside of is Miles Sanders. You got Rashard Penny there as well.
They're all great value.
You need a wide receiver,
but I need a wide receiver now to balance what I've got. I've got arguably one good one. That's assuming he's not got frostbite in his head.
Well, yeah.
But assuming he's okay, then yeah, I think you're right. Curtis Samuel's definitely worth a play, and yes, there is a little bit.
But there's an upside with him, I think.
Well, the 33%
are saying so.
They don't mind that.
I
prefer him over Jones this year, but although Jones,
I'd rather go with the youth.
Yeah, I'm happier to do that.
Not an old guy coming off an injury.
And we'll see what they offer us on the next pick, which comes back quite quick, and there are some good ones. See what Miles Sanders there. This is where it gets more interesting. I think as I'm going to be loading for potential, I'm going to take Miles Sanders now.
Just for the upside.
Just for the upside. I'm just going to load him onto my bench. So
okay. No, I totally agree.
I'm not going to mess about there. I've got 3 starters, but what if this guy comes good? Then I've got bargaining tools and all sorts of stuff I can use here. So there's no harm, and we'll just see.
Exactly. Fill your bench up with...
it's a bit annoying that some of the wide receivers...
one of your favourite players of this year.
Look, Deshaun Jackson's not my cup of tea, but
I want none about him.
I like Austin Eckler and Darrell Henderson sitting there.
Darrell Henderson is...
Well, see, the thing here is I can't... This is going to sound mental because I've already got 4. I'm actually going to play it this way round. I'm going to take Austin Eckler because I just think there's a huge upside for this kid. He scored 136 in standard, and I think it ended up at 152 in half-point PPR. You're going to get a bit, and that was with Gordon in the team. So, and I've looked at his trajectory in terms of how the players played over the last couple of seasons, and I kind of think, well, if Gordon isn't in, even though I'm not expecting him to take all the work, of course he's not. Justin Jackson will, even if he gets an uptick.
He's a nice guy you can use in your flex or use as trade.
If I have a problem, I can package him with another player. I just think there's going to be a lot of mileage.
What do you have every year in fantasy? Running back needy teams. If you've got somebody even that can do any sort of job, they're valuable. So I think it's
a sensible play. I do need wide receivers. I'm not denying it, and I will have to swing back in. But
I mean, Jackson's somebody that he could boom in your flex. I think.
Yeah, definitely. He could. Yeah, you're right. He could. But I'm going to go Austin Eckler and load another running back on because I know how valuable they are and what I can do with him. And then we'll see who falls to us. Now, actually, funny enough, Deshaun Jackson still there, but they've actually put the...
And Darrell Henderson's still there as well.
I'm going to take Deshaun Jackson now. So I'm going to do that because it was a good use of the space. Funny enough, they preferred him in the last round at higher percentage. I don't understand how his percentage is
because you really need a tight end, they're saying.
I'm not worried about tight ends.
No, exactly.
No. I think I'll take Deshaun Jackson there. That gives me 3 wide receivers of some worth.
Yeah, rolling back the clock with Antonio Brown and Deshaun Jackson.
Oh, this is interesting. So, again, as I'm playing strategy, and it is a bit of a gamble, there's a player here, I'm going to talk about him in a minute, but I don't have to go for him yet. I've got to start thinking out of the box and what will work, and I'm going to do it because, again, he's another big hunch player. I'm taking Jalen Samuels here, so I'm not even going to head another running back, just going to load him onto my team and just keep putting them on. Because I know the value of these guys and what he could do.
I totally agree.
And again, if you want to see him, have a look at the bold prediction list when it comes out about this chap. Because have a look at what Connor's situation is, and you decide for yourself whether you think this guy's got a path to a job. Because again, just like Eckler, this guy has a standalone value, and even if you package him with somebody, that might upgrade your team. So you might have a running back that you don't need to go with a receiver that you don't need to get yourself a better wide receiver to add to this team. So that's the strategy I'd be looking at. Now we're in a different mould. I've got my favourite all-time tight end sitting still.
There's 2 good tight ends there, really.
I like Austin Hooper as well. He's good. And I probably would go.
These 2 are both on our late tight end.
In all fairness,
well.
Given I do need a tight end, I don't have to take one, but I just feel I've got 2 bench spots left. Looking around the board, will they be there next time? I'm not going to wait for see who falls back to me, and they might not. I'll take Austin Hooper because I just think 13 games in a dome, being talked up by the quarterback is always a good thing.
Yeah,
so
year on year he's improved his numbers. That's the kind of guy you want, isn't it?
So it's worked out quite well. I'm not going to be looking at another tight end.
You worried about another quarterback with the same bye week though? That's you don't really want to on the week 7.
No, you don't want to. But there's a lot of good ones. I think Kirk Cousins finished very well last year in standard, finished 7th. And
let me make this argument to you.
Please do,
because some people would want to do this with Montgomery. He hasn't played it down in the NFL.
Yeah.
So there is some risk there.
Yeah.
You're like, if he goes down, that could be your season hurt. But the handcuff is still sitting here really late.
Yeah.
who would do a good job in his absence. Because Cohen does his own role. He's a pass catcher. He lines up in the slot. He's not a running back. He's a change of pace, third down receiving back with.
So you're thinking
skill.
Mike Davis? Here?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Right. Okay. Let me
you're
tell
not
you.
Really. You're not really a handcuff guy.
No. Let me tell you
that's
why.
What I would do.
Let me tell you why I won't be doing it.
I know why. I know why.
I'll tell you why I won't be doing it. I understand why people will do it. I won't be. 2 reasons. This team is always run back heavy, so I've already got enough running backs.
You can never have enough running backs.
You can never have enough, but I've got ones I really kind of like. And if I'm honest, I like the situation that Montgomery's got, and I'm not worried about injury risk at this. It would be crazy for me to think I need to back him up. I've already got some good ones on the bench. In fact, you could argue I've got 3 backups sitting on my bench already. I don't need 4. I probably need to look elsewhere if I'm honest. So that's the kind of way I'm looking at it. I know you can never have enough, but I don't need Mike Davis. I believe in Montgomery.
That's the route I would go down.
Yeah,
if it was me.
Yeah, I don't need to worry about it. I'm quietly convinced I know what I've got, and I don't need to have.
But anyone can get injured.
I've got enough depth here.
I think Mike Davis is good.
Yeah, he is.
As a backup, he would get the job.
He's a very good player. It's just not for me. I mean, if I'm honest, there are other players I would.
Well, you don't like good players.
I do like him, but there are other players I prefer to take. I'm just looking at the board, and I've got to kind of think. I do need another wide receiver here. I've got 3. Is there one I like? I mean, Quincy Enunwa with that neck injury could be useful, but he's always injured. Is the problem? I can't touch the glass man, Mr. Devontae Parker. I won't go near Godwin. David Moore doesn't interest me. Sorry. None of those are at all appealing. There is another player deeper down who I'd take a shot with the last stash spot at the bench, probably.
Hardman? McCall Hardman? Would you be interested in?
He might be worth a late round flyer, maybe.
Especially in that offense, any sort of part of that offense.
Actually, as I've only got 2 bench spots left, let's do it this way because we're at the point now where ADP.
Do you want to look at defenses? I mean,
you're probably going to be able to, in the kindest way, they'll let you have the best defense on the board without.
No, they've gone.
Quite. They've gone. Okay. Yes, you could go defense just for the upside. It's just.
I'm not saying you should. I'm just saying what was there. That's all. It's worth checking.
This is the route. I've got 2 bench spots. This is the route that I want to go down. These are going to be players that fall outside their ADP, which they won't like. So I'm going to take them in the order that I want them. I think this would be the route that I will go down. The first one that I will take, because there's more risk on this. I'll take Chase Edmonds to back up David Johnson. So in this case, I'll take Chase because remember
you are taking your handcuff there
because Johnson did have an injury 2 years ago, and this guy has always looked solid. Always looked solid if he came in. And when my second pick comes up, what I'm going to do is take another running back because I believe there's a chance of another breakout, and I'm going to use him for mileage as well, which is Raquel Armstead as my final pick.
Well, you got a few actually. Let's just talk through the options. So you've got Raquel Armstead. He's backing up Fournette. Who
I don't like.
You don't like. Yeah. You like him, but you don't like the injury.
There is Darwin Thompson as well.
I was going to say there's Darwin Thompson. Any part of that KC offense could be.
Yeah.
And let's face it, there's no clear number 1 there. There is an opportunity, and he's
can still take McCole Hardman if I want to.
He's kind of a fast Carrot Cohen type that could be mixed in even if there is a starter. He's not going to be a run between.
Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's take Darwin Thompson and put him on because you make a compelling case.
Another one you got, Tony Pollard, and
he could start the year as
Jerry Jones, who I wouldn't trust anything he said, but he said he's a 3-down back. But I think especially in a PPR league, I think he has a bit more value as well.
I'm going to go with Darwin Thompson just for the upside and it will probably end up being that this team will trade on one of these running backs with something else to get a wide receiver.
He's got the big green arrow trading up, so there you go. Someone to look out for.
Then we'll just, to fill the team, to make it fair, we'll just take the best defence and tight end available just to fill it out, unless we don't want to. Defence and kicker.
You don't have to, though, do you? That's the thing.
Well, let's not for the moment. Let's keep building.
I mean, are you really that bothered about defence?
No, let's take Raquel Armstead, then we'll take McCole Hardman.
Because we're drafting 2 weeks before the season.
Yeah.
A lot can happen in that time. It's worth stashing a few players.
It is probably worth the stash.
Rather than pick up a mediocre defence and kicker.
Yeah, because they are going to be.
Stash a couple more players.
All those Greg Zerline's great and Justin Tucker are great. But
if you want to, I wouldn't put you off that.
I can get kickers everywhere, so I'm not going to worry about it. No, I'm going to go Raquel Armstead and I'll go McCole Hardman if he's still there after Raquel Armstead. And
Devontae Parker's still there.
Yeah, no thanks. Yeah, not going to happen.
Think about it.
I've thought about it. and still a no.
That's just me.
So no, and McCall Hardman to finish off.
McCall Hardman.
Yeah, there he is, number 75 down there on the wide receiver list.
There we go.
And that would be the draft before we start. They won't like the grade.
No, because we haven't got a kicker in the defence.
So they're going to give me a poor grade. But actually, 86 out of 100 is okay. You could really live with that.
Who is it? Provided by Hooters. You're giving you good feedback.
Very good feedback.
I think we give them good feedback, to be honest. Yeah. Looking at the team.
They like my standings, I like theirs. It's a winner. It's a great... No, it's a really good situation for us.
This team's got legs and... No, okay.
No, best not to. Yeah. What I like about the team, the positives are I'm very running back focused in this team, which some people just
don't. In a 14 to 16 man team, hitting these running backs really adds value.
They're always tradable.
Even if yours hit... Value. Think of the trade value you got for people. People are always looking for running backs. They're not looking for wide receivers.
What is the Melvin Gordon owner going to offer you if you've got Eckler sitting there and week one he's not playing?
It's week 3 or 4 and he's still not playing.
And then you offer him and say, look, I need a wide receiver and it needs to be something of quality or I'll keep Eckler.
And if you're worried about your Antonio Brown, Curtis Samuel, Deshaun Jackson...
It's probably going to need a trade to give you another wide receiver, but frankly I'd accept that with this team because I've got so much there.
Needs Miles Sanders, Austin Eckler, Darwin Thompson or Raquel Armstead, any sort of injury you're ahead of them and they become instantly valuable.
And then
not number one.
Yeah, but what would people offer you if they're playing running back number 1 numbers? I mean, they're going to offer you a decent price.
They're exciting players, so you're going to get something pretty good.
So it's a good. I like the team. The grade is perfectly fine for me. I mean, imagine what the grade would have been with the defense and kicker. They probably would have given me a 95, 96. So yeah, perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. Very serviceable.
And we did back in Baker that can take a big step forward. So
an exciting team, lots of upside, some risk, but that's what you got to do when you want to find out whether you're capable of winning it all. So there you go. So overall, pretty reasonable. Bench a 4, that's okay. Starters a 6, I can live with that because I think my starters are better than they think. And overall 5 is fine. So happy days with that.
Yeah, considering you got no defence or kicker, so them starters are going to take a hit there. That's why that one's a bit further down. You've got 2 spots missing, but 2 weeks before the draft, if you draft a bit before the season, then it's not a bad tactic to do that. So.
I think it's sensible advice from Al, and it's certainly a tactic worth using. And as he says, you can't put a premium on a starting bank if you get one that somebody who was your bench spot guy who's suddenly got a starting role is going to have a big value for you.
There you go. So he's saying your strongest position is flex and your weakest position is defence. Not having one. So
not having one and kicker.
That would be a weakness.
Yeah.
But, before the season, you can see how it plays out. See who's...
Well, you're going to be able to trade. I mean, that's the beauty of a team.
I mean, see whose situation is trending up and who might get injured or is trading down, and then you can just swap them out for a defence.
Yeah. Thank God I didn't have the dream team of Elliott, Gordon, Brown, Green. Oh, that's a dream team. You
could have all tempted in by then. Yeah. That would be the ultimate gamble. Do you like the team? Who would you have picked differently? And do you like any of the picks? Is any more than others? We'd like to hear it down in the comments. Do you know where to do it? Hit the thumbs up while you're there and consider subscribing.
We'll see you next time.
And thanks very much for watching.